Well, right now, obviously, it seems like we're going through a Nintendo Twitter spiel of new games because, yeah, we just got randomly announced Xenoblade Chronicles X coming to the Nintendo Switch, a definitive edition of that game at that, which does kind of look like they changed a lot about it and changed the graphics and art style up a little bit to match some of the modern Xenoblades, and it looks really good, and I know fans are absolutely losing their minds to have all Xenoblade games on the Nintendo Switch. But with that said, it does have me wondering about the future, and I touched on this a little bit on my original announcement video of them announcing Xenoblade Chronicles X, but I really want to dive deep into what else could be coming to the Nintendo Switch as we wait for Switch 2, because there's still some games, believe it or not, left on the Wii U. I know people are already saying they're throwing their Wii U's away, but not too fast, because there's still some games on that platform and some games on past platforms that Nintendo can still bring back. Look, the Nintendo Switch is full of great new games, but also filled to the brim of classics coming back as remasters or remakes or even just ports. So it has me wondering what else could be included, and especially in the time that we're in now, where it seems like we're just getting some smaller titles as we wait for Switch 2's announcement. So today I want to talk about what games are left, what could come back as a remake or remaster and get announced pretty soon on Twitter or maybe in some sort of Nintendo presentation. Real quick before we continue, 77 of you guys subscribed yesterday, so let's see how many we can get from this one video. If you really enjoy the content, leave a like and subscribe. It goes a long way and it helps out the channel a lot. But let's jump into the video. Well, part of the reason we're even talking about this stuff today is because of Samus Hunter on Twitter, because she's been sometimes right about things and sometimes wrong, but it seems like she's been fixing where she's getting her information from because she's been pretty accurate lately. She leaked Emio the Smiling Man way before it actually came out, and she leaked Xenoblade Chronicles X because she put on Twitter, everyone is eagerly awaiting the reveal of the Switch successor, but get ready because before its launch, Nintendo has many more titles planned for the first console. Someone said like what in the comments, and she claims this app itself is a teaser, which obviously the app's called X, and she teased Xenoblade Chronicles X, which would be revealed just about a day or two later. So it looks like Switch 1 is not done yet. We're going to be getting even more remakes, remasters, and ports until we get Switch 2. And back to the PRO update, he claimed there was another little thing that he knew about, and apparently it isn't anything about Switch 2, which is still incredibly weird that he used eyeballs in his bio, which, you know, at the time, we were all talking about Switch 2 with these eyes thanks to Ukulele's trailer and stuff, so yeah, it's a little bit of a throw-off. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But yeah, he has updated his profile. Now the clock is all warped and warpy looking, and some people are claiming that it suggests that this is a hint at Time Twist, which is an obscure Japan-only Nintendo IP released for the Famicom Disk System. Which got me really just confused, because I'm like, why in the world is Nintendo bringing things like this back when they have other IPs that people have been begging for to come back, like Earthbound or Kid Icarus, Punch-Out? Like, what is Nintendo doing? And this sounds definitely like something that's about to happen. Nintendo has done weird things like this, and Pyro has leaked some very strange things that we weren't expecting. So this definitely is probably going to happen. Get ready for something weird soon. But going back to Samus Hunter's tweet, she claims that there's other Switch 1 games coming. And we've heard for a while that Nintendo is literally just sitting on a bunch of games. So what are those games? Well, I kind of want to work backwards as to what they could be. Going to the Wii U first, because it seems like Nintendo really is clearing all of its software from that console and just erasing its existence completely from history. So what else is left on the Wii U? Well, I'm going to start off with the best one that I can think of, Nin10do Land. Nin10do Land does use the Wii U gamepad a lot, and it's one of the reasons why I even made my channel, is because it was so cool how it integrated all these different Nintendo IPs and gave you a little taste of each one, and I really wish Nintendo would make a sequel, but man, would I just simply be happy for a port or just a remaster, anything along those lines, just to see this game come back into modern consoles. We also have Star Fox Zero, which we haven't had a Star Fox game since. I'm also hoping Nintendo just makes a new Star Fox, but this is a way, if they do have it available, maybe slap it onto the Switch, maybe not as expensive, because it is a very short game with not a whole lot of replayability. So add some maybe extra levels and some extra stuff to do if the game does come back. Personally, I don't want it to. I think they need to move on from this game, but I wouldn't be disappointed to see it return. Then we have two more Wii U games I was thinking about, Yoshi's Woolly World and Kirby's Rainbow Curse. Yoshi's Woolly World is one of my favorite Wii U games, and it's really a bummer that they didn't bring it back to Switch. Instead, they just slapped it on the 3DS, but it could pull, you know, we've seen a lot of situations where it came out on the Wii or it came out on the Wii U and the 3DS. It doesn't mean that that game can't come to Switch. I mean, we've seen it with Xenoblade Chronicles, we're seeing it with Donkey Kong Country Returns, so there is a really good chance that this game could make a return for the Nintendo Switch, and I really hope so, because I think it's way better than Crafted World. I love the world design, I love the level design, it's just so much fun. The music is 10 million times better, and I love the boss battles and just everything about this game. Please bring Woolly World back, Nintendo. But besides that, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse did actually get a patent update recently, so this could actually be coming. Now, how in the world is this going to work on the Switch, because you can't draw on the gamepad to make the paths? Well, maybe there's some type of IR motion control cameras with the Joy-Cons, or you can play in handheld mode if you want. Maybe there's two different options, or you just use kind of gyro controls with the Switch controller, like the Pro controller, just to kind of aim a little bit. I don't know how well that's going to work, but I think it would be good enough. I mean, you don't have to be extremely accurate with this game, but still, I don't know. I'm kind of like 50-50 on that one. I would like to play it again, but at the same time, it's something that definitely could be left on the Wii U. Of course, you knew this one was coming. We just got Tears of the Kingdom and Echoes of Wisdom the year after, so there's a good chance next year there's no Zelda title. So this is a perfect way to fill that year with Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD. It's absolutely insanity that these games haven't come to Switch. When you look at everything Nintendo's bringing over to Switch, how did these games miss the cut? How in the world, Zelda, one of their biggest franchises, you don't have two of their biggest games on the Nintendo Switch with Wind Waker and Twilight Princess? It blows my mind. They came out on Wii U, you don't have to really do anything to these games. They didn't utilize the gamepad as a necessity. You could use it, but it didn't need to be used. You could use a regular controller, so it's really baffling to me. It was already put up in HD and everything for the Wii U, so you literally just had to port the game over to Switch. I'm sure there's a couple little other intricacies and in and outs that they had to do, but overall, I really want to believe that they have these games. Like, these games have been done and they're just sitting on them waiting for the proper time and the perfect time. I think early next year would be perfect for games like this. There are a couple more that I just think are unfortunately dead. I don't think we're getting Mario Tennis Ultra Smash anytime soon. Trust me, I mean, we already have Aces, which is a lot better. We're not getting that at all. Or any of the Mario Parties. Even though I loved Mario Party 9, I don't think we're getting Mario Party 9 or 10. We've already have enough on the Switch. And it goes for two more, I think, as well. Game & Wario, which, does anybody else like Game & Wario or have played it or own it? Because it's like so nostalgic for me. I don't know why. The music, some of the mini games, you know, I just love the way this game handled some of the games and stuff. It's not, you know, Wario micro game goodness that we're used to, but it still was fun in its own right. And I did have a blast playing this game when I was younger. Do I think it's returning? Absolutely not. I mean, some mini games literally required the gamepad, you know, specifically. So I don't know. Actually, let me say almost every single mini game required the gamepad because it was kind of made as like a way to learn about the Wii U. I'm surprised it wasn't a pack-in game because it was literally teaching you all the functions of the Wii U gamepad and everything that it could do. And the other one, Paper Mario Color Splash. I know there's some Color Splash fans out there, but there is no way this game is ever seeing the light of day again, because not only was it very much like Sticker Star with a very bad battle system, a weak story with little unique characters, people just did not like this game, and it's very clear why. And when you look at what Nintendo has been doing, even Origami King moved further away from this formula a little bit at least, and then bringing back Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door in a new way was so refreshing to fans. Them going back to Color Splash at all, or even just bringing back a port of it, would just be very detrimental to the fan base, and I feel like people would be very upset by them doing this. So hopefully they don't decide to do this, even though that game did have some good moments, and I know there's its fans out there and people that love this game. Unfortunately, you might have to keep your Wii U around a bit longer if you want to continue to enjoy this game. Next up, let's move over to 3DS games, because I feel like this is the one I'm most excited for. I have all the 3DS games pretty much, and I really would like to play them on a big screen and with better controls for a lot of them, and of course you know exactly where I'm going first. Kid Icarus Uprising. Sakurai has been bringing this up multiple times. We have all been bringing up multiple times. I see all these games coming back, and it makes me so upset that still Kid Icarus Uprising isn't being touched, because it is such an incredibly good game that's just left on the 3DS to die right now, and it really needs to make a return. It's so surprising to me that Nintendo hasn't brought it back with a better control scheme, because playing it with the stylus literally gives you carpal tunnel. But seriously, it's a really good game that deserves to make a return, and same thing as Tomodachi Life. I personally haven't played it, but I know people love this game, and I see comments about it every single time I talk about old games coming back. So this is something that fans would really love to see again. Nintendo, you should give it a try, or at least make a new one at that matter. You know, maybe for the new Switch, there is a new type of Tomodachi Life, but You know, you let me know in the comments down below. Would you rather just see the old one return or rather have a new one entirely? The Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds is such a good Zelda game. It's one of my favorite top-down 2D Zelda games ever, and one of my favorite in the franchise. And honestly, I want to pull my 3DS back out and play it again, but I have a hunch that eventually we might actually see this game return on the Nintendo Switch. But after having Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom, I really doubt we'll see this game on Switch 1. After already having two top-down 2D Zelda games, I think if we ever do see this game return, it might be something on the Switch 2 eventually. So unfortunately, I don't see it happening soon, even though I would absolutely love to see its return. I absolutely don't want to see Rhythm Heaven Fever. I don't want to see it. Like, I don't want this game coming back because I want a new one. Like, how in the world do we not have a new Rhythm Heaven yet? The Switch felt like it was a perfect console to revitalize the franchise, and I won't even say that because we've had games coming out. Like I said, they just had one on the 3DS with, I'm not going to say just had one, but they, you know, kind of recently had one with Mega Mix, which was just a combination of all the Rhythm Heaven games in one, or at least a lot of them. So I'm hoping that we see a just new title altogether, but if they really just desperately need to get this game back out, just throw Mega Mix on the Switch. There are two Kirby games that I still want to see on Switch, and they are arguably two of the best games in the series. You know, but that's before Forgotten Land came out, because that game is just a masterpiece. But yes, I'm talking about Triple Deluxe and Planet Robobot. Triple Deluxe is such a solid 2D Kirby platformer, and I would love to see it on Switch. It doesn't do anything weird or wacky to the point where you need to have it on a 3DS. I mean, there's some gyro controls, but that's really about it. And we know Switch can do that. But Planet Robobot is just even better by adding this Robobot armor that you can battle with, and there's so many different variations and cool new copy abilities, even one that turns you into Ness pretty much. But I absolutely love this game as well. The boss battles were very tough. I loved the True Arena, which was one of the hardest in the entire series. There's a lot going on with both of these games, and I think they should be included in a collection pack, like both of them, and maybe some additional new content too that they could add. You know, HAL Labs is really good at doing stuff like this, so it actually wouldn't surprise me if they did give us a collection pack. As someone that doesn't play Fire Emblem, at least not yet, I always see Fire Emblem Awakening as like the game that ushered in Fire Emblem to everybody. It's the game that really started it all and started like making Fire Emblem well known, at least here in the States, that is. Because man, you never really heard about this series, and ever since that came out on the 3DS and we started getting characters in Smash 3DS and Wii U, this is when it really started, and I feel like this is a game that some people would really like to see on the Nintendo Switch coming from the 3DS. Another one, Mario 3D Land. I absolutely don't see this happening. To me, Mario 3D Land always felt like a smaller, lesser version of Mario 3D World by a long shot, but there are still some avid Mario 3D Land fans. How would this game even return, though, is the question, because this game is very short, very basic, and it's definitely never going to be worth $60, you know, let alone even like $50. I don't even think it's worth $40 to come back on the Nintendo Switch, so they would have to add a lot of content if they're going to bring this back in some way, and if they were going to bring it back, I felt like it would have been in, obviously, the Mario 3D All-Stars, but that didn't happen. I could definitely see Animal Crossing New Leaf happening, especially if they want us to wait for the next Animal Crossing still a couple years and just give us something to play in the meantime, but they would probably also have to have some live updates to keep the game alive and stuff, and they probably only want to do that with a single Animal Crossing, so this is probably unlikely. Same with New Super Mario Bros. 2, there's really no reason to bring this back. It was just like New Super Mario Bros. The Coin Edition, you know what I mean? They had some extra challenge levels, but this should have been included in the New Super Mario Bros. U collection pack where they had New Super Luigi U as well that came to the Switch, but this game wasn't included at all, so it's not happening. Neither are any of the past New Super Mario Bros. Games. That goes for Wii and the DS. Now, technically, both of these are Nintendo 64 games, but they're both Zelda games again. It's funny that we want so many Zelda remakes and remasters still, even though we're getting new games as well. We just want to see some of the classics again return, and of course, I'm talking about Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Both of these games had 3DS versions, and some people loved the additions, some people hated them, and the changes that were made, but maybe just use these as like, you know, a template and just make them even better, and a big ultimate 4K edition for Switch 2, I don't know, but literally just bring them back in HD for Nintendo Switch I think would be really cool. Maybe even both of them in a collection pack. Once again, I don't think Nintendo's doing that. It would probably be one at a time, but both of these games are some of the best Zelda games of all time. People love these and live by these games. definitely bring them back eventually. Personally, I would wait for Switch 2 to make these games look as possibly beautiful as you can, but yeah, either way, I want to see them both return. As far as anything else on the 3DS, I think that's about it. Of course, that also includes Mario and Luigi games, because we're just getting Mario and Luigi Brothership. I don't think they're going to be going back to those past games. We've already seen what happened. It actually caused the bankruptcy of Alpha Dream and the foreclosure of that company, so there's a good chance we're not revisiting any past Mario and Luigi games again. There's also Star Fox 64 3D, whatever they called it on the 3DS, which I'm tired of Star Fox 64, don't bring that back. But the one that I also forgot, Metroid Samus Returns, which could be a cool 2D Zelda game that they could revisit as a remake or a remaster of some sort, or just bringing it to Switch. So those are options as well. Now let's move on to the Wii. As I show a 3DS, yeah, technically Epic Yarn was a Wii game, and I know I could have done this with the other games that I've already talked about, but who cares? We're already here. Let's just talk about it as a Wii game. Kirby's Epic Yarn, it came out on the Wii and then on the 3DS. It could be a cool Kirby game to see return on the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it. It's a really good Kirby game, even for it not feeling like a Kirby game, because there's no like copy abilities or anything like that. But I love the whole yarn aesthetic. It's a really fun 2D adventure game with Kirby, with cool transformations still. And yeah, I would love to see this game return on Switch, and it's one that I definitely think deserves it. Yep, you guys knew this one was coming. It just kind of sucks that Mario Galaxy is now kind of considered underrated. I mean, seriously, no one ever seems to remember this game. Even my friends that love Super Mario Galaxy, they act like Mario Galaxy 2 never existed, and it's just like that with Nintendo and everybody else as well. It's just so forgotten, and I'm just like, why? It's just such a great game. It's Mario Galaxy, but even more, and it's on the same console. How come this just didn't blow up as much as it should have? But yeah, Nintendo just acts like it never existed. They don't include it in literally anything. So I would love if somehow they could bring this game back, and the only thing I can think of is maybe they're waiting for a specific time where they're going to bring it back and they're actually going to have like extra galaxies and add some stuff to it or something. I don't know. One can dream, of course, but Mario Galaxy 2 needs to return. Now you could argue Mario Sports Mix, but one of the only Mario Sports titles that haven't returned so far is Mario Baseball. Where in the world is Mario Baseball? I mean, literally, if you just gave us Super Sluggers again, I'd be fine just adding more characters or something. But, I mean, would we ever get a remake or remaster of a Mario Sports title? Let alone like a Mario Party, anything like that? Definitely not. I don't think so. So I really just hope there is a new Mario Baseball being produced, and I actually hope they wait for the Switch 2 to make it not like the sports games we've gotten on the Switch. But yeah, we need Mario Baseball again. So we have Metroid Prime. We know Metroid Prime 4 is coming. Where the heck is 2 and 3? It's just like the middle of the sandwich is missing here, and I feel like there's some story that needs to be told, so they need to absolutely have 2 and 3 on the Switch before 4 comes out. And it looks like they're running out of time, so out of almost everything on this list, I would expect 2 and 3 to be coming sooner than later. There's been rumors suggesting that 1 was going to be the ultimate remake, which it was in a way. It definitely looked a lot better. Technically it was a remaster, but you know what I mean. Where 2 and 3 was just going to feel more like slight enhances, maybe something like Pikmin's 1 and 2. So I'm hoping that we at least get Metroid Prime 2 and 3 in some capacity. I don't care what it looks like, I just want to see those games return on Nintendo Switch before 4 comes out. Not to mention, Echoes had a multiplayer mode, so it could be a really fun online multiplayer game you can play. And yes, I know some of these are GameCube, we're getting into GameCube. We're not getting into GameCube yet. I just wanted to include both of them because, you know, Metroid Prime 3 is on this list, so I put them together here. And Punch-Out has been entirely dead since the Wii, so I really hope that they just literally bring this one back and maybe even add other playable fighters, or, you know, fighters that you can go up against, and some cameo ones as well would be pretty cool, like when they had Donkey Kong. So I am actually very, very excited to see what they could do with a sequel, or maybe just a remake or a remaster. Bring back Punch-Out, man. Little Mac needs it. But I do want to wrap it up with GameCube. I know we could keep going to DS and even Game Boy and stuff, but it looks like Nintendo's really pulling from the last couple of generations, so let's end it with GameCube. Of course, we have Kirby Air Ride, which is a Kirby racing game, which I definitely do see coming back one day in some capacity. I would love to play City Trial with online players, would be super cool. I do see it coming back. And same thing with F-Zero GX. I know there were some rumors a while ago. We do have F-Zero 99 and people love it. This could be a first step, and then F-Zero GX being the second step, being an HD remake of some sort, and then eventually getting a new game. I think this is needed. I was a big sleeper on GX until I actually played it through emulation, because can't find copies anywhere and they're running for outrageous prices, so hopefully Nintendo remakes this game. But it's very, very challenging, but a really fun racing game that definitely should return. There's also 2 Star Fox games. I can't believe we had 2 Star Fox games on one console, where we can't even get one nowadays. But Star Fox Assault, which is one of my favorite Star Fox games of all time. In fact, it actually might be my favorite. Really fun story and gameplay mechanic where you can jump in and out of the vehicles. I really love that, and there's like ground weapons and stuff. I just wish the controls were a little bit better. They're a little tanky, and I'm not a big fan of that control scheme, but that can easily be fixed up with the remake. And also, it has a really fun multiplayer versus mode, so that could be something that's also fun to play online as well. And Star Fox Adventures. Star Fox Adventures is a game that I actually have not played yet, and I am looking forward to trying it out. I heard it's kind of like the Zelda for Star Fox games, which is a lot different, not really focused on R-Wings or anything like that, more dungeon crawling, exploration, puzzle solving, so I'm really interested to see how that is in the combat with all that. But yeah, I think both of these could be options for the Switch, at least Assault. I mean, that one makes the most sense. And then of course there's always that one game where I'm like, we are never seeing this again, and that's how I feel about Wario World. It's a 3D Wario game where he's just beating the snot out of everything and everybody. I love this game. I thought it was actually really good, and I would love to see another 3D Wario game, an adventure game, instead of just always micro games now. But this was so wacky, so weird, and so different. I don't know if Nintendo's gonna bring this back, but I would love to see it return. Man, please give us a Wario World remaster or remake. Something like that would be so cool. But yes, I'm sure that there's other games that I'm missing or leaving out as well, so definitely let me know in the comments down below if I missed anything, or is there any other games that you want to see return before we move over to Switch 2. It seems like this still is the end wrapping up for Nintendo Switch, but it looks like Nintendo still has some things planned, as we just got Xenoblade Chronicles X announced out of completely nowhere. So what else would you like to see? Definitely let me know. Leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Nintendo, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.